What is up, my friends, my factivists? It is Monday. It is the beginning of the week. Welcome to another episode of Fax Me TV. I am your host, Stephen Lancaster, and I'm literally in the middle of baking this show as we go along. Why? Because I have been in and out of meetings all day today, clearly. And no, I'm not auditioning for Saved by the Bell, the new generation. Okay? So don't be making fun of my vest, man. But we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about yesterday. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I did a surprise live yesterday. I wasn't even going to do a live, as I told you guys, on Saturday, and I stumbled upon this old news show pilot for WCN, Working Class News, that I was the guy in. And I told that story about how this podcast network wanted to have me do a news show, and I gave it a shot, and it was too stuffy, and it was too scripted, and it was teleprompter this, teleprompter that. You can't say this, you can't say that. And if you watched that, you could probably blatantly see me trying to stick my humor in there, but I was stiff, felt completely out of place. And just didn't like it. Wasn't my jam, man. But being busy today, I thought, man, I am going to miss out on doing a live for you guys. So I was like, look, I'm just going to hit the button and kind of do this as we go along. Yesterday, I told you guys I was going to tell you the story of these two sheriffs that are battling it out here locally in North Carolina. And how unprofessional that I personally feel that it is. And it brings me to the conversation I want to have with you guys. And I want to pose the question in the chat. So to set that stage, should we draw a line for professionals? And when I say professional, if you're a federal employee, should we draw a line to where maybe you shouldn't be permitted to post on social media? Now, I know this would open up a huge argument about free speech and this, that, and the other thing. I've been down this road. You know, I have managed stores. I have been a director of marketing. I have went to human resource meetings. You know what I'm saying? And by law, if you're going for a job, let's say, and that job requires you to sign a release, essentially, or sign some sort of contract that says you represent this business and you cannot be posting publicly on social media. Okay. Some states, teachers do this. Teachers aren't even allowed to be on social media. So it's not really a infringement of rights like a lot of people want to kind of paint it as. It's not, because you are agreeing to do that. You don't have to take the job. That's the caveat, right? So if you're going for this interview and you want this job and they say, hey, this is how it's going to be as an employee of ours, you can't be on social media. If you say okay and you sign that contract, that's on you. So you can't later come back and say, oh, you know, it's infringing on my rights to speech. No, it's not. It's not even in the same realm to even have that argument. And this is something I'm very well educated on, and I've dealt with myself, with my own employees years and years and years ago. But here we have, and again, guys, bear with me because I'm literally usually I have a show put together before I even do this, but today I'm so pressed for time. And there it is. I just look, I don't want to miss out on doing a live for you guys. So this is how we're doing it. But regardless, what has essentially happened is there's a town, 2 towns over from where my wife and I, where we have our farm, which is where I'm sitting right now. I'm actually in my studio. I got out of work a little early today because of all the meetings I had. So rushed home. Nice 40-minute drive to get this stuff done for you guys. But here's the thing, there's a town called Kenansville, North Carolina. It's a really historic town. There's a museum. It's a lot of old blood. And when I tell you it's old blood, that means old blood. Like nothing is going to change as long as this old blood is still running the show. The old money, so to speak. And anyway, Sutherland ran for sheriff and he won. He's a Republican sheriff. He didn't even have a Democrat opponent. Okay, we're seeing this like more and more. But he won. And nonetheless, the current sheriff is that old guard man, right? We're seeing this with like everything, it seems. And this is nothing new. This kind of mentality and gatekeeping has been going on with just about every organization in the United States. It's just what happens. The old guys and gals like it a certain way and they buck the young people coming in, But regardless, Duplin County voters, that's the county that this particular town sits in, have asked for change because they don't like the way the old guard, the old blood is running the show, right? And, but the old guard isn't ready to hand those keys over. And publicly, and this is what's bothering me, is publicly the soon-to-be former sheriff is, hold on, guys, I'm just trying to bring up my surveillance. The older sheriff in public is trying to play it off like, oh, we're being nothing but civil. We're making this transition easy, that kind of BS, right? So Eric has kind of been, I kind of sympathize in one way because basically this old sheriff, he's not pulled out of there until December of this year. That's when Eric will come in and take over. But he is already poisoning the office. He's telling his employees that Eric's going to come in there. They're going to lose their jobs. They're going to be put in different positions that they don't want. There's going to be layoffs, cutbacks, some positions eradicated completely. And apparently none of this is even true. So Eric took to social media and said, hey, yes, on the news I said there's going to be changes. There are going to be changes. However, not like this former sheriff is trying to lead people to believe. Okay? I'm trying to pull up some of this information for you guys right now. Anyways, so here's the way the news is reporting this. And, well, first off, let me cover who these players are. Okay. And I apologize, guys, for being a little, disorganized here, but you have Eric Sutherland, the guy that just won. And again, he didn't even have a, competitor, so to speak. There was no Democratic opponent. Regardless, the current sheriff, again, is that old blood, guys. And I'm trying to bring this up, but Facebook is not cooperating with me. Hold on. Just let me dig here real quick. But the old blood, he's trying to say that he hasn't said anything negative. But the problem is Eric is receiving emails, direct messages, text messages from the current employees saying, hey, our current sheriff is saying you're doing this, that, and the other thing. Is this true? Because if it is, I need to be looking for another job, which is completely understandable. But they're contacting Eric, the new sheriff. So he knows they are being told that. So the old sheriff is basically lying. He's saying, I'm not saying that, blah, blah. And Eric took to social media saying, well, your staff, they're telling me that you are. So there's no other place they would have heard this stuff, or there's no other reason they would be worried about losing their job, because Eric hasn't said anything publicly that's remotely close. But Stratton Stokes is the current sheriff. And if you look up this guy, Stratton Stokes, It's the Warsaw area police chief. And this isn't his first rodeo with this kind of stuff. All right, he says one thing and then he'll completely lie about it the next day. It's nothing new for this guy. But I don't have an issue with Eric bringing this stuff out so what is going to be his future staff isn't worried. You see what I'm saying? But where I have issue is the current sheriff jumping in on this and feeding the fire, so to speak. Eric isn't sheriff yet, so he can kind of get a pass. I still feel it's a little unprofessional, but the current sheriff should have more of a rope around him. Like, if you're saying this stuff, and Eric's got emails and texts from your employees saying you're saying this stuff, there should be an investigation. And that's what I alluded to yesterday, that the SBI should be brought in to do an investigation. The SBI is who would essentially oversee a sheriff's office. If you don't count the SBI, sheriffs are primarily accountable to voters, the courts, the criminal process, state certification bodies, those kind of people. But when you're talking about something internal, like internal affairs type stuff, you're going to get the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation to come in there. And being that Eric has all of the receipts, I think they should go in there, investigate, get this current sheriff, get him to lie. Like, look, you're saying you haven't said this stuff. Here it is. You're retiring early, buddy. And just go ahead and pull him out of there and put Eric in there to just take it over. But this leads to the question, my friends, where do you draw the line? Like, do you think federal employees not necessarily should have to stay off social media, but if that job requirement states as such, I have no issue with that because you agreed to it when you took the job. I just think we're seeing, as the generations go by and everything is becoming more digital, you know, more people are living online, communicating online. You know, I grew up with terrestrial radio. Something like we're doing right now is something, as silly as it sounds, you would only see in a sci-fi movie. But things are changing and we do have to adapt to those things. However, I still think you need to keep that level of professionalism. I love Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump. We know he is a master troll. But there are some things he has said. It's like, man, yeah, it's funny. And because we know Trump, we don't put a lot of stock in it because we know he's trolling. But it's not just him. We're seeing all politicians do this. We are now seeing law enforcement do this. These people that are supposed to be in authoritative positions acting like high school students on social media. What do you guys think? I don't want to go too much more into this story, you know, because I live here locally and I don't want to piss anybody off. But I'm actually taking Eric Sutherland's side on this. If he was already in the office as sheriff, I would be a little more, I would definitely be stricter with him. Like, dude, you should be handling this privately with the old Sheriff Stokes. And Eric has claimed that he has tried. So it seems to me all of the problem is in this old blood, the old sheriff that's going to be out of there at the end of December. And he's just trying to make it to where, because here's what we see with the old guard, the old blood in anything, whether it be podcasting, whether it be something political. It doesn't matter the organization, but what you generally see with the old guard, it's like, look, dude, you're about to retire. Why would you even care what this guy's going to do when he comes in there, right? But I think what it all comes down to is ego. Nobody wants the younger guy or girl coming in there and making things better. As sad as that sounds, I think that's the reality many times. We don't want somebody coming in that's going to outshine what we did, and then it kind of degrades our job performance, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm going to be honest here. Stratton Stokes, the current sheriff, hasn't done anything like productive. He's actually looked down upon by the area. So, you know, I completely agree with Eric saying there's going to be some changes. We're going to change some things because we should be serving the people better, you know. So I don't think Eric's in the wrong here, but I do think taking this to social media is a problem. But at the same time, here's a devil's advocate for you guys to ponder in the chat. How else would the general public know? That's the caveat, guys. If Eric wouldn't have brought this out, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Nobody would even know that there were internal issues at that sheriff's office. You see how fast I've tried to put this together? I just grabbed this, didn't even take this off. All for my factivists. But let's move on from that. Okay, today I'm covering something again with Baron Coleman, and I'm also covering something with Candace Owens that is going to blow your mind. Well, actually, it probably isn't. You're probably going to be like, yeah, that makes total sense, Steve. So, but I'm going to get to that and I'm going to show it to you. And after the show, there will be a hard copy of this available on my YouTube channel under the community section and on Facebook. So you guys can start sharing this around if you need to. And I'll get to why you might need to when we get to that part.
You are watching Facts Me TV. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
This channel is a mix of facts, parody, satire, and personal opinion. If you ever need clarification on any of the material, please don't hesitate to ask.
But I want to talk about this recent crap with Baron Coleman. I don't know how much you guys follow him or note the news from him or anything. You guys have seen me debunk quite a few things of his, and I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to bring this up for you guys to see. So apparently what happened. Now I'm gonna preface this with it's Baron Coleman, showing how extremely unhinged and unprofessional he truly is. Now here's the thing. A normal, everyday, average citizen, social media person who does not like Baron Coleman, you know, I don't like Baron Coleman, called him out on social media, okay? And words were exchanged. And there were sexual innuendos and there was a lot of nasty things said to Baron. The P word involving children, you know, really nasty stuff by this just social media user to Baron Coleman, okay? Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now is this woman made a post about what happened, okay? Now, this is the interesting part. Deborah here, the woman, was the person who attacked Baron, okay? So you guys got that. Deborah attacked Baron verbally with a bunch of name calling, disgusting name calling, okay? So that's pretty much all you need to know about that. So what did Baron do? This is the problem, okay? What did he do? He found Deborah's house and phone number and called, but he didn't talk to Deborah. Instead, he talked to Deborah's husband. Now, this is a rather lengthy post. Like, it is really long, okay? She detailed everything. And I have a feeling I know why she made this post public and detailed everything. Okay, so the issue was between Baron Coleman and Deborah. But Baron called Deborah's house, but didn't talk to Deborah. So what I'm going to play on the screen right now, guys, is this post from Deborah being narrated. Okay, that's not Deborah's voice you're about to hear. It's just narrating her words. This post that you're seeing on the screen, just narrated so I don't have to read it to you. So you guys listen to this, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story.
Today, my husband received a phone call from a blocked number. The caller was Baron Coleman. My husband had no idea who was calling or why. Baron proceeded to threaten legal action against my husband's business over social media posts that I had made, posts my husband had absolutely nothing to do with. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge something. Looking back, I may not have used the best judgment with my post. My intention was to make a point. After Baron publicly talked about having pictures of Charlie's children, I wanted him to understand how that might feel from the other side. In hindsight, it was not the best way to make that point, and I apologize for that. The reason I spoke up in the first place is because I know firsthand what it is like to lose a spouse. After 17 years of marriage, I lost my husband to cancer. For those 17 years, I had been a stay-at-home mom raising our 4 children. There was no life insurance and no financial safety net. Overnight, everything changed. I suddenly found myself grieving the loss of my husband while trying to figure out how to provide for 4 children on my own. I had to go right back to work because I had no other choice. Losing a parent is devastating for a child, and the years that followed were not easy for any of us. We faced grief, financial hardship, mistakes, and difficult seasons as we learned how to navigate a life none of us had chosen. My 2 youngest children struggled with addiction and legal issues along the way. That is not something I hide from because it is part of our family's story. What I am proud of is that we kept going. We survived, and they are clean. Watching what was being said about Erica Kirk struck a nerve with me. As a widow myself, I felt compelled to speak up and offer support. During the call, Baron brought up my adult children's past struggles and legal issues. He then told my husband that if I removed the post, he would not go after my children. I took the post down immediately because I believed that would be the end of the matter. Instead, he has since chosen to make my children and our family's hardships part of a public discussion. He's not a man of his word. Baron now claims my husband was horrified and embarrassed by me. That is simply not true. My husband was confused as to why a stranger was calling him from a blocked number and threatening his business over something that had nothing to do with him. I have nothing to hide. My family's story includes loss, hardship, and mistakes made along the way, but it also includes perseverance, faith, and raising 4 children after one of the hardest things a family can endure. I won't pretend my family is perfect. Like many families who have endured profound loss, we have faced challenges and made mistakes. But I refuse to be ashamed of surviving them, especially at the hands of someone who makes a living attacking and bullying people online. I had no intention of saying anything publicly until Baron chose to post his version of events. I know no one at Turning Point USA. They are not involved in this. I simply admired Charlie Kirk, and it disgusts me to see what is being done with his legacy. The issue is that this group is quick to criticize and attack others, yet when faced with equivalent scrutiny or a measured response, they immediately adopt the role of victim and express moral outrage. At the same time, they appear to have no qualms about the prolonged harassment and attacks directed at Erica's family and friends. This selective application of standards reveals a clear inconsistency in their approach to discourse and accountability.
It's all the same, always faking good every day. It seems big words are to blame. I know the place where the grifting is so bold. She lies all the time, just a no. I'm facts
Need a fact?
All I wanted to do was tell the facts to you. So take me away. I don't mind. Gotta promise me I'll be back in time.
All right, my friends. So you just heard a narration of Deborah's post on X about Baron calling her house. You heard everything, right? Now here's where Baron extremely screwed up, which really surprises me, because on one hand, you're supposed to be taking this man seriously as some sort of attorney. Okay, that's his claim to fame, as being an attorney. But when you look up his claim to fame, he wasn't actually very good at it. In fact, he lost a lot. In fact, he was more of the conspiracy side of it. Go figure, right? He's an AIDS denialist. This is the mentality of Baron Coleman. This is the guy, if you've never watched, I've got 2 episodes on here called Breaking Baron. One where he tried to say that Charlie Kirk wasn't shot. Charlie Kirk was electrocuted. I completely debunked that one. And then the other one where Baron was... Anyways, we don't even need to get into it. You can go watch it. I have debunked Baron's major claims. Regardless, okay? So if you're new to Baron, you can go check that out just to see how much of a conscious liar this man is. Because my 2 videos debunking his theories destroyed him. Completely destroyed him. And that's not a brag. That's just, he's a liar and a troublemaker. And he's always causing problems. So you heard what Deborah said. Now, here's the problem. Okay, this is my clean fax me version here of the problem. The issue was between Baron and Deborah, not Baron and Deborah's husband. But when Baron tracked down their residential address and phone number, okay, that's A, stalking. B, he calls. Blocked the number and called. Okay, so he's showing how shady he is. But he didn't talk to Deborah. He went off on the husband and threatened the husband. That's a problem. Okay? A lawyer, look, here it is. The key issue people are reacting to is it's not simply a lawyer threatened me. It's the allegation that he contacted the spouse. Okay? Instead of addressing the person who made the post, he contacted the spouse. And there's some gray area there of whether he called him at his house, at the spouse's house, or where the spouse works. There's some gray area there. But regardless, he called the husband. That makes it look like intimidation by proxy. In fact, you know what? That's just the nice way, the legal way of saying it. It doesn't make it look like that. That is intimidation of proxy. Your issue is with the wife and the name calling, but you track down the husband and threaten him. That is Baron Coleman for you, okay? I can't or won't just argue with online, or argue with you online, so I'll call your husband's business and put pressure there, okay? That's essentially what's being said here. I can't or won't argue with you online, so I'll call your husband's business. So there is clarification there. It was the business. Again, like I said, guys, I'm putting this together as we go along. So he pressured her husband. That is every bit of intimidation by proxy. That is not something an intelligent, high IQ attorney, as he paints himself, would do. In fact, it's pretty stupid. The accusation is that Baron Coleman called a woman's husband from a blocked number and threatened legal action against the husband's business. There it is. He threatened legal action against the husband's business over the wife's posts. No public record has confirmed the full call yet, but if the allegation is accurate, That's an extremely bad look for Baron. And he already looks bad because it shifts from debate to pressure tactics. And that's exactly what Baron did, guys. Now that you guys know all the information, what are your thoughts on that in the chat? Deborah doesn't like Baron because he's a shady grifter. She goes off on him. And the interesting thing is she was doing nothing different than what Baron does every day on his show. Baron's constantly throwing out false accusations against people. If you guys have followed him, you know this. That's what this man does for a living, is lie. Create narratives and accuse people of stuff without accusing them of stuff, right? The whole grifter mantra. Deborah threw it back at him. Instead of him going after Deborah, he tracks down Deborah's husband's business and threatens him. I foresee some issues with Baron here, legally. I really do. What do you guys think in the chat? This is a bad look for Baron. You know, it's kind of similar, like, you know, if somebody wanted to come at me for something I had said, but then goes and starts attacking my aunt over it, or my uncle, you know, or even my wife. That's stupid. That is really stupid. Now, knowing how shady Baron is, and he called from a blocked number, did he even call from his own cell phone, or was he using somebody else's cell phone? You can cool best believe Baron has probably made sure that that phone call could not be traced back to him in any way. Because he has got to know better than that, right? I mean, you can't just call somebody uninvolved in a situation and threaten them. Completely threaten them. Threatened legal action against the husband's business over the wife's post. So we're going to keep an eye on this story, guys. I'm going to reach out to Deborah today at some point and see if she wants to come on Fax Me and tell her story. No promises, guys. You know, some people are up for this kind of thing. Some people aren't. And if this is going to involve anything legal, she may not want to. But I'm at least going to extend that invitation for my factivists. Say, hey, let's get you on, because nobody is helping her out. Okay? We know Baron. I know Baron. So I am on Deborah's side here. Now, should she have conducted herself the way that she did? Probably not. Probably not. You know? However, in comparison to what Baron's doing, threatening legal action against her husband's business over something he had nothing to do with, that's a problem. That's a problem. What do you guys think? Put your thoughts in the chat. We're going to keep an eye on this story. I'll report back in future episodes, future lives. If any more develops from this, like I said, I'm going to reach out to Deborah, see what's going on, see if she wants to come on the show, and we'll go from there.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Shocking.
The next thing on the plate, guys, before we jump to it, this is what I call the this is our finale for the episode. Okay. I don't know if I'll get a whole hour out of this today, guys, or not. I'm just, like I said, I'm running with it to get you guys something out today. But let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to be giving you information on Candace. Now, don't get too excited, okay? Don't get too excited. But you know, guys, I am all about giving you ammunition, you know, for when the candy cultists attack. And if you guys note, and I'll go ahead and say something about that. I'm seeing a lot of comments from people who follow Candace, and they're saying things along the lines of, I wish you would refer to all of us as candy cultists. Part of me gets it, but the other part is like, really? 8 months into this, and you don't consider yourself a cultist? defending every lie this woman has said. And then when you confront them with that, they want to say, well, I don't believe everything she says, just some of it. Then that really makes you a cultist. That really makes you a cultist. That means you are okay with her lying just to have some truths. And I'm here to tell you there aren't any. So whatever you guys are talking about, that she doesn't lie about everything, you're going to have to tell me what she didn't lie about, because I have yet to find that. Anybody? Anybody? So no, I am not going to quit referring to that audience as a candy cultist. Okay? I used to follow Candace. I wouldn't consider even then, I wouldn't have considered myself a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, a fan is somebody that's never going to miss an episode, that is always sharing that person's material, you know, being a fan. I would watch Candace once in a while. And it was mostly because of Charlie. So I was just kind of, all right, how can she be bad if she was with Charlie? If she was with Ben Shapiro? But now we all know the truth. Regardless, if at this point you are still supporting and defending Candace Owens, knowing that she has lied through her teeth, she hasn't proven anything, nothing, in 8 months concerning the Charlie Kirk assassination. Knowing all of this, knowing her association with sexual predators, pedophiles, rapists, Harvey Weinstein, Andrew Tate, Russell Brand, the list goes on and on. She not only defends these people, she associates with them. If you all are looking past all that, you are a cultist. Period. So no apology from me. None. You got to dance with what brought you, and that is what brought you. Okay? That was your decision to make. The rest of us factivists, the rest of us real conservatives, for 8 months have been trying to help you. Have been trying to, hey, man, you're getting duped by this woman. Here's why. And instead of accepting that olive branch, accepting that help, you don't even want to look into it. You just want to attack. The difference is we didn't attack you. We were like, here's the truth. She's just using you for money. You know, guys, you candy cultists. How many episodes has she begged you all for money because of her attorney fees and because of her being sued left and right because of her own fault? Yet she goes to Italy. She goes to Russia. She's wearing $1,000 clothes every day. Guys, come on. You're a cultist. You are an absolute cultist. We started out trying to help you and put you guys on the right path, and you made us the enemy. So you are a cultist by every definition.
You are watching Facts Me TV. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
So guys, something I wanted to do, and this took some time to do, and I'm going to be showing it to you on the screen, the process. This is something, I'll tell you what made me do this, is I'm seeing more and more of the cultists. Their attacks are more of, we're obsessed. Have you guys seen these? You guys maybe have been called that yourself, factivists. We're obsessed. We're obsessed with Candace. That's all we talk about is Candace. Now, here's where they're wrong. Okay? Take Candace out of it. Take Candace out of it. If somebody is attacking Charlie, hurting Charlie's legacy, hurting his wife, his widowed wife, hurting his children, hurting all of Turning Point USA's employees, trying to just drag them all through the mud, you are damn right we're obsessed with protecting all that. It has nothing to do with Candace. That could be anybody out there doing that. In fact, you've got Baron Coleman, you've got Stu Peters, you've got people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and we're going against them too. The difference is Candace lives and breathes her obsession every day. Every day. Megan, Tucker, even Baron does some different things. He's still pretty much just leeching off of Candace. But whatever Candace says, he doubles down on and does a whole 3-4 hour show on it, you know? Regardless, you guys are going to come on to our YouTube, our Facebook, fax me, or come at my Factivists and say we're obsessed with Candace. No, we're obsessed with the truth, and so should you. You should be obsessed with the truth too. But you're not. You're obsessed with Candace, which puts you right into the candy cult. Okay? And you guys are obsessed with Candace, who's obsessed with Erica and Charlie. Okay, now that was the long way around to get to the point of why I spent hours and hours doing what I did and what I'm about to present to you. Guys, I'm about to give you some numbers. And you're going to leave here today with we'll just say a meme, right? I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to post it on Facebook. That when somebody says you're obsessed with Candace, you don't even have to say anything. You can just attach that meme to your reply and let it do its work. Because here's what we're going to talk about today, my friends. We're going to talk numbers. Let's start with the very first one I did. I want to say it was this one. We're going to go over these numbers. Okay, as you guys are seeing on the screen, I crunched the numbers, baby. All right, now here's your data. This is from September 10th, 2025 to yesterday. What was that? Okay, June 7th, 2026. So the data that you're about to see, the data that's on the meme that you guys can run with after the show, is compiled from September 10th, 2025 to yesterday, June 7th, 2026. Now, what you guys are seeing on the screen is I ran the numbers on everything Candace Owens. Her Facebook posts, her X posts, her Instagram, her YouTube, her podcast episodes, everything. Okay? And that is what you are seeing on the screen. The first thing I searched for to get all of the totals was how many times since September 10th of last year to June 7th, yesterday, has Candace Owens said the name Erica. Okay? So what you're seeing is you're seeing all of the data that I was running. You're seeing all of the episodes listed out, what the episode titles were. So if you guys ever want to come back and look at any of this, pause it. If you want to go to these episodes, you want to compare data, whatever. So I did it all. Everything, there's all the episodes you guys are seeing right there on the screen. I ran everything Candace Owens. Anyway, she has a way to communicate. So here's your bottom line. Candace Owens has said or written the name Erica or Erica, spelled both ways, K or C, a verified minimum of 2,125 times across her podcast since September 10th, 2025. 2,125 times at a minimum. Oh, not even a year. Okay? September 10th to June, what did I say, 7th? Yesterday? Yeah, June 7th. Over 2,100 times she has said that woman's name. I would call that an obsession. Would you guys not call that obsession? But that's not even the good one. Who's going to be the good one, right? Can you guess what name I did next? That's right, guys. You are seeing on the screen, I ran the same data, same type of search. For how many times she has said Charlie across every post, every episode of her podcast, every video, Instagram, Facebook. Since September 10th of last year to yesterday, June 7th, 2026, Candace Owens has said Charlie 4,417 times. Erica, 2,125 times. This means that Charlie's name was said more than twice Erica's. Now, we already said that's an obsession with Erica over 2,000 times. But Charlie, she has said 4,417 times. Now, this is where it gets even worse. Every single episode of her podcast that she has released since September 10th has said Charlie, has mentioned Charlie. 97 episodes since last September 10th, she has said Charlie every single episode, totaling 4,417 times. Now, you want to know what's really bad about that? That's just her vocalizing it. I didn't run the posts. I didn't run anything written like I did with Erica. So with Erica, it was both spoken, her spoken form, if you want to break that down, she physically said the name Erica 1,979 times. 1,979 times. Then posted Erica 146 times, totaling your 2125. But just speaking the name Charlie 4,400, a little over 4,400 times. That is obsession. Again, that's not even counting posts where she typed it out and spelled, which we know she does all the time, every day. So you can almost safely say that it's double that. But spoken, she has said Charlie in every single episode, 97 episodes, 4,400 times, over 4,400 times. But let's not stop there, kids, because, I mean, why? Why would we stop there? That's not the Facts Me way. So I thought, you know what? Let me be fair here, right? Let me be fair. And let's see how many times she said her husband's name. You know, maybe it's 6,000, maybe it's 7,000. Maybe there is something that will give her a little bit of saving grace. Since September 10th last year, across 97 episodes, until yesterday, June 7th, 2026, Candace Owens has only said the name George 146 times. Her own husband, 146 times. But the man she's obsessed with, Charlie, over 4,400 times. The woman she's obsessed with, Erica, over 2,100 times, has only said her husband's name 146 times. Now, to make that even worse, that's just the name George. Not necessarily her husband, George Farmer, because she often talks about George Zinn a lot, right? So out of that 146, how many are actually George Zinn references and not George Farmer? That makes it even worse. That's obsession. Okay, that should be eye-opening to you factivists. It really should. So, your nice clean meme that you're going to run with is going to look like this. I'm putting it up on the screen for you. We're going to talk about how I laid this out. It's perfectly laid out for you guys up at the top. Candace obsession data. Charlie, 4,417 mentions across all 97 episodes that were filmed between September 10th and June 7th of 2026. Erica, 2,125 times across 90 episodes. So there were 7 episodes that she didn't mention Erica. Out of 97, she mentioned them 90. 90 episodes. George, whether it be George Zinn or George Farmer, was mentioned 146 times across 43 episodes. What do you guys think? I see obsession here. I see truth. I see us presenting facts to fight these people who do nothing but deflect. We bring data, they bring BS. period. And I put at the bottom so it was clear to other people, fax me fact-checking data as of 6/7/26, as of yesterday. So it's only going to go up from this point on. So that's something else you can add to your post when somebody, let's say a month from now, says, hey, you're obsessed with Candace. Say, no, this is obsession, and this data was only as of a month ago, or what, you know what I'm saying? You guys will have to play it out according to the time. So what do you guys think about that, man? Sorry I was a little ill prepared today. Like I said, I didn't think I was even going to make it with all the meetings I had, and had to run out and do errands. I had to go to the pharmacy and get my medication, stuff like that, because I'm on high blood pressure medicine because of my stroke in 2013, and cholesterol medicine, you know, 'cause I'm an old guy now. All kinds of goodies. You know, it's just fantastic. It's not. So anyway, you guys got some great data you can run with now. As soon as this episode's over, you can find it in the community section of YouTube. And of course, I will make a post about it on Facebook. That meme will be there. Just download it to your phone or your device. You'll have it to use. We also talked about Baron Coleman tripping up, in my opinion, guys. I think he made a big mistake calling that lady's husband at his place, at his business, and threatening a lawsuit. The man did nothing. The man did nothing to you, Baron. And you threatened him. You threatened him. You guys heard firsthand from Deborah, the woman who is dealing with this situation with Baron. I had it nice and narrated for you. And of course, we talked about crazy social media and professionals taking the social media to sound like a bunch of high schoolers. We talked about that as well. But I'm going to rock out of here, man. Still got the rest of the evening. I'm going to chill with my wife and my dogs. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad I was able to pull this off for you guys. And I do want to apologize for looking like this. I'm so uncomfortable in clothes like this, guys, as you can imagine. I was like, but I'm leaving the hat. I'm leaving the hat. Actually, when I went out, I was wearing my, I even have it now. I was wearing my black fedora. I'm a fedora guy. But to be honest with you, most of the time, when I'm doing the show, I wear this because a lot of the time I'm in headphones. You guys don't see that. But when I'm producing it, I have got to take these on and off. And that doesn't work well with a fedora. And I'm an anti-earbud. I'm anti-earbud. I hate them things. Nothing beats the sound that comes out of a good set of cans, guys. Telling you. Same thing with a vinyl record. You can play your little MP3s all day long. Okay? That's the Kmart version. You put a vinyl record on, man, you're going to feel it. You're gonna discover a whole new world in the songs that you thought you loved. Anyways, guys, I want you to have a great evening. I hope everybody's doing well. I want you to know, I'm not going to call anybody out by name, but there have been a few of you in the chat. I know you guys are going through some things that you've been slowly making us aware of. I want you to know that I do pray for you all. I prayed for you all last night. Again, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. That's up to you if you want to air your stuff out in the chat. But we're a great community here, guys, and I'm glad we kind of got through the tough time known as last week. And X does not mark the spot. The only spot it marks is a place I will never be again. That's it. But guys, I'm loving it. I'm seeing a lot of activity on the channel, a lot of comments, a lot of new people. Guys, Factivists, please welcome them with open arms. You know, Jim, guys, he's my new moderator here at Fax Me. You guys show him the love. Jim, I don't know if you caught my message yesterday towards the end of the show. So I'll just say it to where you can't avoid it, buddy. Over on Facebook, shoot me a good address for you, man, whether it's a P.O. box, just some way I can get you some stuff. Because I want to thank you for helping out and moderating this show. It's not something you have to do. And I think you're a great guy, dude. We've had great conversations. And I'd like to send you maybe a shirt and you know, maybe a copy of my book, The Blue Playbook Conservative. If you guys haven't read this, it is on Amazon. You guys want to know everything about beating grifters and understand how the political system works, and you truly want to become a factivist? Read this. I promise. You're going to come out of that like, okay, yeah, all right. But yeah, Jim, shoot me an address, man. If you're uncomfortable with that, that's fine, man. No offense. But I want to send you some goodies just to thank you. You guys asked about Air Jeff. I talked to Air Jeff 2 days ago, and it was just a brief thing. I was just checking in on him, and he's good. He's good. He's just kind of taking a break from social media. And do you blame him? You know, because that was a whole mess last week, and a lot of people got pulled into drama that don't necessarily want to be pulled into. So I saw you guys asking in the chat. That's why I contacted Jeff. I said, hey, man, they're asking about you in the chat, so I just want to check in on you. And he said he's fine. He's just taking a break. So hopefully Jeff will be swinging in and getting back into the swing of things with us here on Fax Me. But I want you guys to have just an awesome day, and I will be back at you tomorrow with another Fax Me Live. All right? So, hey, let's keep that truth on our tongues and God right here, my friends. I'll be talking at you soon.
Here's the story of a lowbrow lady who was faking gay and lying to the world. All of them had lies they told to each other, with sham on like curls. Here's the story of a man named Georgie, who was busy with gay boys in his home. They were 4 men lying all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met gay fellow, using rich white men was much more than a hunch. That this group of lowlifes are damn crazy. That's the way they all became the Shady Bunch. The Shady Bunch. The Shady Bunch. That's the way we became the Shady Bunch. The Shady Bunch. The Shady Bunch. That's the way we became the Shady Bunch.